So here we are then. New channel that I'm starting, well, now, obviously. And first of all, I just want to say that thanks for being here. Like, it does mean a lot. Like, and I imagine that most of you watching this have seen me because I've recommended this because I do a West Ham, I do a football channel for West Ham on here, the West Ham Way. So a lot of people know me from that. I've spoken about wanting to do this, so a lot of people come from there. But however, you might be someone that's just found me, you stumbled upon this video, whatever, you've been recommended it. So I just want to first of all say, like, really grateful for you being here and watching this video. It really means the world to me. It's a new venture for myself and something that I've been eager to do for quite a while. It's been burning in the back of my mind. It's been there and sort of growing over time, and I've wanted it to do it, but it's waiting for that right time because you may know or you may not know, I've had a drink problem. I've had a drink problem in my life, and I'm now approaching 3 years. On the 10th of August this year, in 2026, I will be 3 years since the last time I had a drop of alcohol. And it's been a journey. It's been a real journey for me. And one thing I've wanted to do is to help. I've wanted to create a community and help other people because I'm going to be honest, right? When this all begun for myself personally, I found it really lonely experience. Like that feeling of like you've got an issue and that you feel like everyone else is fine. Everyone else is around you is absolutely fine. Your friends, your family, everyone, your colleagues, everyone else seems to be able to drink. Everyone else seems to be able to go and have a great time. Everyone else seems to be comfortable with, cracking on with life, like it, and being able to go on the booze without it being an issue. And I wasn't. And what was sad was I used to be. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't always like that. It wasn't like I started out and it was an absolute nightmare to begin with. It took time. And so that feeling of feeling on my own, it was hard. That was probably one of the toughest parts of it, really. I mean, there's many hurdles to overcome, but that lonely feeling is certainly one of them. So my eagerness to do this was to sort of create a bit of a community and be able to share with you my thoughts, feelings on it, and obviously then you do the same, and we can sort of bounce off each other really and help each other because I want you to know, like, you're not on your own. Like, in fact, there's so many people in the same boat and who struggle, and there's a lot of people that have done so well, and that's kind of where I managed to get myself through a lot of it was because I found content. I found, especially on YouTube, a lot of content that really helped me out, and yeah, and I want to do the same. So that's what this is all about, right? So welcome. I'm Mark Carlaw, and I'm really grateful that you're here. Right. So um, I think I want to kind of with this channel, I'm going to do a couple of videos a week to start with, and then we'll see where it all kind of goes. All right, and then over time, I will allow it to grow and it will go in its own direction as it does. But at the moment, that's kind of where I'm at because this is a new venture for me. But if you've got ideas, anything you kind of want me to discuss, just feel free. Put in a comment in, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps us out because this is the first video of a new channel, and I really want it to be a success and to help others. So yeah, and you are part of that. So I really appreciate it. Right, let's start with. I think the first thing is honesty in all of this. Like that is a fundamental core. It's a fundamental foundation for your life. If you want to make change in your life, and you desire, you have the burning desire for something to be better, to improve upon where you're at. Um, I think honesty is the key to it. I think you have to be honest, and that's not easy. It sounds easy. Well, yeah, I'll be honest with myself, but really, like as human beings, we lie to ourselves all the time. We kid ourselves because it makes us feel better. Um, but so being honest about where you're at with your boozing, whatever it may be, let's stick to booze, right? On this, but wherever you are at with it, and it could be, as I say, it could be gambling, it could be sex, it could be a number of things, drugs, loads of things that are you're struggling to control, that's making your life difficult. The reality is you need to be honest with yourself and be honest about where you're at. Be honest, is it a problem? Because it's so easy to dismiss it. I dismissed it for years. I dismissed it for years and years. I was so easy, I could easily just brush it aside, just push it away. And I see people doing it all the time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, how many times I've been out with people, or I know people that are just so trapped. They're caught up. They're completely like imprisoned by their lifestyle but they won't admit that it's a problem because they don't want to admit it's a problem, and that's fine, by the way. Like, you know what I mean? Because you can't force people. You can't force people to change. You can't say to someone you have to. It's very very hard. This journey you're on, and the fact you're here, the fact you're watching this video, for me tells me that either you've acknowledged that you've got a problem, or maybe you're curious. Maybe you're just you've got that there. It's in your mind somewhere. So this could be your moment, because I've got a moment, and I'm going to share it with you. There was a moment in my life when the first time when I really realized that I had a problem with drinking. I was 31 years old. Now I didn't quit drinking until I was 38. So even when I acknowledged I had a drink problem, I still had 7 years of boozing, and I mean boozing, like not just it weren't cutting down. It was, if anything, it accelerated. So it wasn't a moment. It wasn't like I thought it, and then that's it. I'm going to make a change in my life. If I'm going to be honest with you here, like, and this is a very honest channel, right? I'm always going to be, warts and all. I'll tell you it all, right? I was proud. Like I was like, to admit that I had an alcohol problem. It almost felt like a badge of honor at the time in my life. I felt like, because of where I was in my life, who I was hanging out with, and the lifestyle I was living. Like, admitting you had a drinking problem was kind of like, well, yeah, you know what I mean. That's what it's cool, isn't it? Is that not a cool thing to? It's embarrassing looking back at it, but that's where I was at. Like I was just saying just then, being honest. I was lying to myself that it was a cool thing. How is that a good thing in your life, to know that you are essentially an addict? You know what I mean? You can't, and your life's not in a good way because of it. And I remember where I was. I was walking through a car park. I was 31 years old. I was going to a shop to buy wine and beer. Surprise, surprise. And I think if I remember right, I think I'd either had a row with my girlfriend at the time, or I think we'd been out the night before, and maybe I'd had a fallout with someone. I can't quite remember the reasons behind the feeling like this, but I remember walking through the car park, and I remember this feeling came over me, and it was like I said it to myself: if only I didn't drink. If only I didn't drink, none of this would be happening. And I remember thinking to myself, God, I sound like someone that's AA. I sound like someone that's is an alcoholic. That's what I'm saying, sounding like. And as I say, I dismissed it. I just treated it as if it was kind of like cool. It didn't really matter. But the seed was sown. I will always remember that moment, because I know it was a different feeling. It was a different, it was like my brain suddenly became quite aware, and it was like, and as I say on this like video, right, honesty. It was like a moment of honesty that and I sort of, my mask slipped a little bit. That persona I'd been putting on for so many years of, yeah, I'm a fucking guy. I love going down the pub. I love getting on it. I'm always I'm always fucking on it. I'm always pissed, and I'm the life and soul kind of character. Do you know what I mean? And I always sort of wore that as my mask. It was a part of my life. Do you know what I mean? It was a fundamental part of my life. That was my personality, because I was just drinking all the time. So it was who I was. But the mask slipped a little bit that moment. It really did. And I remember it did hit me, but I pushed it away quickly. As I say, I had 7 years of boozing. So I think the fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching this video, as I say, I don't know where you're at in your journey. Everyone's journey is unique. There's no off the shelf. It isn't a retrofit that you take off the shelf. That's what being an alcoholic is, or that's how suffering from alcoholism is. It's not like that. It's everyone's got a different approach. You could be someone that drinks once a month and have a drink problem. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be someone that. Unfortunately, we've got a society where they tell you that an alcoholic is someone that drinks continuously and can't stop, or if you're not that, then you're fine. It's like, no, it's a spectrum, and it can affect people in very different ways. And I think that's where you need to be. I think that's where we need to be at, is just honesty. Be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror and be honest. Is this really where you want your life to be? Is this really where you want to be in your life? Do you want to change? Do you have a drink problem? Is it a problem now? Is it becoming an issue in your life? Are you waking up in the mornings and feeling happy about where you are? I mean, I got so exhausted with that feeling. I was so drained of that constant feeling of like just picking up the pieces of my life and having to just slog through the days, all because of the drink that I was doing, all the drinking I was doing. It was killing me. It was battering me, and it took its toll. But as I say, the first part of it wasn't like I realized I had a problem and bang, everything changed. It didn't. It took a long, long time for me to actually finally to address my problems. But as I say, the seed was sown. One thing I'll say is, I want to really stress this. Like, don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed to admit to yourself that you've got a drink problem. Don't feel embarrassed or ashamed and beat yourself up over it. Because I'll be honest now, like I went through that. I went through that shame feeling and so, oh, there's something wrong with me kind of thing. I'm proud of it now. Do you know what I mean? I'm actually proud. I'm at a place in my life where I'm proud that I've got a problem. I'm grateful I've got a drink problem because without drink, my life wouldn't be where it's at now. Like I wouldn't be doing this, right? Obviously, I wouldn't be doing a channel on being about sobriety. But I wouldn't be doing a channel in the first place. I wouldn't be on the West Ham way. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be being able to take my families on holidays I've been able to do recently the last couple of years because I've been able to save money. I went, you know, I want to buy that. We're moving house next year, right? I wouldn't. These things would not be happening if I was still heavily drinking. Never in a million years. My life has greatly improved, and no, I'm not. It's. I don't want you to think I'm trying to paint some picture that you skip for a meadow for the rest of your life, and it's like that you have no issues. That's just totally wrong. Like there are things you're gonna have to conquer once you stop drinking. Trust me. Like it's not a straightforward like breeze. It's not. It's a battle, and even today I have to work on myself, like in terms of my mental health and my physical health. I have to look after myself, right? So, but we'll cover all this stuff, right? But I wouldn't change it for the world, man. Honestly, I look at people now that drink heavily, right? And I'm just so grateful I'm not there anymore. I'm so glad, and I just think like because that could have been me. I'm delighted that I've got my problem was it was severe enough for me to have to change, for to have to stop because time was before. I see people in their lives are just wasted. Do you know what I mean, they're just wasting days and months and years of their lives because all they do is just fucking drink constantly and they can't see it. Can't see it. And I was there. Do you know what I mean? I was part of that for a long, long time. So you can. What I want to say. Well, my point to all this is like, don't feel ashamed. It can really be a positive in your life, and you can turn it into something to be proud of. It might be an illness, right? It might sit as an illness, but you actually can just turn it into an opportunity. It's an opportunity to have such a better life. But there's work to be done. One thing people will always talk about, and we will cover this in another video, probably very soon, is rock bottom. People talk about that rock bottom moment that happens where you then have to change. I think there is truth in that, but because I've got a moment and I've got a couple of them, but I think a lot of people there can be more than one rock bottom moment. That you have like quite a few sometimes. But look, this is a first of many videos. This is going to be a first of many. This channel, I want it to grow, I want it to blossom. It's going to create a new community. We'll come up with ideas, do live chats, all these sort of things are going to happen over time. But I just wanted to start off with this, and it's just about being honest with yourself. Like, and you may be someone at the moment that's maybe not quite being honest with yourself where you are at with it all, and maybe you're dismissing things that I did for a long time, and if that's the case and you're not there yet, that's fine because, as I say, it is a journey, but it is a fundamental core. It is a pillar. It is a foundation to getting a better life. Is you really need to just look in the mirror and be completely honest. And the way I started doing it, and this is why I'm going to end this first video, and this is what I would suggest if you are in a position where you're not quite sure and you're not worried, you know, maybe you're concerned, or maybe there's a thought there in the back of your mind that you've got an issue. Maybe just write down and be honest with yourself what your week looks like. Write down what you do of the week. Wake up, what do you do? What do you eat? Where do you go? And just have a map of a typical week, how you live your life. And if you look at it really honestly, you can actually see, you think, Jesus, like it doesn't quite paint the picture that maybe you've got in your mind. Because that's what I used to do, is lie to myself. Oh, I actually eat a really balanced diet. I didn't eat a balanced diet at all. My diet was horrendous because I used to just booze, get so hammered, come home and grab a chicken burger on my own. Sometimes I wouldn't bother eating, and then I'd wake up and I'd eat crap in the morning because I was so hungry, and like, but I'd kid myself that I was actually living quite a healthy life because occasionally I'd have a bit of fruit, or the odd day I'd have a salad, and I go, yeah, see, like I'm eating quite well. This is what I'm saying. Like it's easy to kid yourself. So that's what I would suggest. Is like, and the fact you're here. The fact you're watching this video tells me that you've already accepted that, you've been honest with yourself and you're on a part of a journey, or if you're here and you're not quite sure, then maybe this is the moment. Maybe this video is your honesty moment. This is that moment, like I had that moment walking across the car park. Maybe this is it. Maybe you'll go, that video, do you know what? I watched that and thought, yeah, do you know what? I might have a problem. I might actually have a drink problem. I didn't like, maybe it's time for me just to hold my hands up, surrender to it. I promise you, like it's a step. It's a big step, and it makes all the difference. It's the start of something. So yeah, Look, thank you for watching. Right, I'm gonna have more content coming out. I'm gonna get into a bit of a rhythm, and I'll make sure it's more. It's gonna be regular. Subscribe, join us, like, give me your comments, give me your thoughts. I really look forward to meeting you, chatting to you, and yeah, I really appreciate you being here. And I'll have another video very soon. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you later.